start a new video, and let's get back to it. We're trying to figure out all the good jungle hunting spots. What's the plan? Oop. Robert was hiding in the thick rooting of one of the jungle trees. Rain was pressing down on him even through the thick layers of these goddamn trees. The noise of it rippling through the nearby stream hampered his ability to make out the sounds of the animal, but he was certain he had found it. A mighty gorilla, an impressive monster. He quickly marked it on the map as ordered and scuttled away. The mercenary didn't like to be here, didn't want to be here. He was paid to be here. He knew he and his fellows were the best for the job because they were paid to make sense of the jungle. He didn't question when Siegfried Mueller had sent him there, since he paid considerably well and promised bonuses for success. Their task was simple. He wanted them to find the most impressive animals in Africa's jungles to potentially hunt them. This would be something even Robert might enjoy. Squadrons of helicopters took off from the Reichkommissariat's palace to disseminate above the jungles. Tiny helicopters, so tiny that 3 men barely fit into it, barring the pilot. Each was stacked with 2 or 3 mercenaries from the hand-chosen commanders, experienced in the unforgiving terrain of a jungle. They were paid to mark Africa's best spots to hunt the jungle wildlife. Their helicopter had landed on a plateau a night ago. Each mercenary went off for themselves to find the biggest and most brutish beast. Where was I? John B. 1995-6. Thank you for following, buddy. I appreciate it. To mark the spots that promised the most money and bonuses, every one of his company having arrived on the plateau, they flew off to the Reichskommissar for the report again. Back there, nobody asked about each other's successes, not even in their own units. Nobody asked, but for the Reichskommissar. I think we're gonna go after Gorilla Boys. If, as some men think, men have evolved from monkeys, then surely gorillas are the most dangerous prey one can face, being the almost perfect union between beast and man, taller than any man, and strong enough to break a lion in two. They live in organized packs, and possess an almost human cunning, being able to even throw rocks at Mueller's helicopters. Many hunters have found a gruesome end at their hands. Still, that's what makes it all the more enticing to hunt them. Facing our ancestors and proving the superiority of our minds and its products, especially helicopters and rifles, over raw instincts and strength. We're going to go after a gorilla. You see, this is the important things we got to do. Managing an economy, fuck that. Improving things for the natives, we're Nazis. There's no way we're doing that. Killing gorillas. Now that's where it's at. That's what I'm telling you. Oh. Jesus, a lot of shit. Oh, damn. That was a quick focus. Okay. Siegfried Mueller was in good mood today, with a wider grin than usual, before ever hopping out of the bed. You know, I don't think PETA would approve, lol. Oh, darn. Shit, I don't think we can do this anymore. We gotta stop. PETA wouldn't approve. I mean, we're already playing it. We might as well finish this off. He was flush with overexcitement at the thought of hunting a big, brutish gorilla. It was one of those classic African animals, but he wanted a trophy of it in his palace. A monstrous gorilla head would make his trophy room just much more impressive. In his office, he pondered over the map, where every mark his scouts had made was centralized for posterity. He swiftly identified the two spots he preferred for plentifulness in animals. He had to choose. On one hand, there was Zimbabwe Mountains. It would be a straight flight there. Those mountains were not too far from the nominal border to East Africa, and made for the breeding ground of some of the most famed highland as well as green savanna hunting spots of the Dales, it was said. On the other hand, his choice fell in the Virunga Mountains, located slightly to the north, a flight that would lead him along the coast of the Congo Lake for some time, but its 8 volcanoes already made for a hunting story worth to tell in Mueller's mind. He now had to choose where he would find the most impressive game and where he would have the most luck with the gigantic gorillas. God. Decisions. Yeah, who cares about PETA? I agree, Smith. Fuck PETA. God, what do we do, guys? Because we gotta make sure we get this gorilla. We have to make sure. In fact, I'm saving my game. If we don't get this gorilla, I'm loading the save back up. Get that gorilla. We're not fucking around, boys. We're reloading the save if we don't get the gorilla. You know, I think, let's go with the uncomplicated flight for now. I mean, the volcanoes sound cool and all, but I'm not sure it's actually going to happen. It sounds too cool. Like, it's a red herring. I think we need to worry about something else. Mueller entered his personal armory. Now that he knew where he was going, he wanted to choose his equipment. The only appropriate reason to reload is save. Exactly! That's what I'm saying! This was one of the quintessential parts of the hunt. Though boring to the onlooker's eyes, Mueller found some joy in it. There was always the option to choose from classical hunting equipment, used decades ago and being just as effective back then. It consisted of older weaponry, something that Mueller's grandfather might have fought with. It was reliable, as it not only included knives, but also devices used in ancient times to read an animal's tracks. But he also could choose from modern hunting weaponry. It relied on a range of newest support devices to make for the perfect kill. It was impressive, heavy, and efficient. However, the modern equipment greatly different from the old, as it lacked its all-rounder abilities. The old equipment often failed to make a hunt swift and effective, with robust animals often escaping before the deadly shot. Mueller often wondered what he could slay such a big beast like a gorilla with. On the other hand, he had to keep in mind how he intended to kill the beast, as to not bring it with him the wrong armory. I don't know. I'm thinking it's a gorilla, so it's not we don't have to worry about them running off. So I'm thinking old weapons, right? I don't know, what do you guys think? I gotta think about this. It's actually a strangely tough decision. We'll go with older equipment for now. And if it doesn't work, we're reloading the save. I don't care. Let's do some boring economy stuff. Jean Blackjack Schramme is the leader of a Belgian expatriate community, an incredibly rich corporate magnate. He is the most powerful man in Central Africa after Mueller himself. By contact with Belgian entrepreneurs who control a large share of the Reichkomisariat's economy and ensuring everything runs smoothly, avoiding discontent and accidents. He has an important role to play in the unofficial colonial bureaucracy. Of course, we know that he's a poor excuse of a mafioso, constantly threatening us with the shutdown of all Belgian activities if we don't grant him tax exemptions and other benefits. But even he knows that we can't ask for too much, or risk losing everything, should we run out of patience. The stalemate is translated into an informal agreement. Every year, Schramme and Mueller meet in person, discuss the extent of the benefits the Belgians will enjoy, and what the expatriates will give to the Reich in exchange for the favored treatment. The old deal has expired. The Reichskommissar has been invited to Schramm's mansion for the annual renewal, blah, 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 blah. Let's do it and see what happens with the gorilla. The hunt is ready. They're rocking towards the helicopter, determined faces of all of them, as at their head was Siegfried Mueller himself. The helicopter's rotors started stirring and threw sand in their directions. Oh man. Before they used their skids to hop on the vehicle, after putting his equipment in place, he sat down for the ride and smiled at his companions. 3 garrison troopers, a local path trapper of a Waffen SS, and a mercenary familiar with the hunting location. They were going to accompany him for a hunt. Everything was ready. The Reichskommissar rubbed his hands at the thought of slaying a big gorilla soon. He pictured it right in front of him, aiming at the silvery, shimmering back of a mountain of flesh, him approaching the deadly blow and fascinated by weirdly human expression. His thoughts haven't felt so alive for some time now. However, he had to hold himself back, despite the glee of finally hunting down, for the hunt merely beckoned. I don't really care about this right now. We just gotta... We're closing in, Reichskommissar. Finally, the pilot's words saved him from completely drifting into the heavens of hunt. Excitedly, he grabbed for the supporting bars and positioned himself on the skids, windy air blowing along his face. Below, he saw that they were crossing a small two-forked stream, overgrown with dark green, thick, mossy grass. The river would wound along the mountains, crossed by on either side. Crossed by the what? For miles, and every meter as it forked around some grassy mound. The helicopter soared. Ahead was a range of highlands, thickly covered by vegetation. The jungle canopy forbade any direct view on the ground, especially with the motion blur. And just disable that in settings, easy. Up and down the landscape went. Minor dales marred the mountainous view from becoming a somewhat equally high and endless plateau. Mueller enjoyed following the rising and sinking lines of a canopy far beyond the most immense ranges of the highlands. He spotted the thicket of a jungle, ending disturbingly abrupt, giving way to grassy mounds again, but they weren't here for that. Oh no. My girlfriend wants to call, and unfortunately I'm watching a cool stream. Isn't a valid excuse for her. Definitely tune into next time you stream, Val. Fair enough. Thanks for joining, Smith. Probably stream tomorrow. I'm gonna upload these eventually to YouTube, so if you want to catch up on what you missed, you can find it there. And, yeah, see you around, buddy. One of his companions joined him on the skids, shouting despite the noise. How do you want to proceed? You seem to have gathered the essential details around the spot by now. Gorillas are surely somewhere amidst the thickest cover. A fine question, to be sure, would be wise to hunt the dangerously vigorous animal from the ground, or rather safely but aggravated by the jungle canopy from the air. The hunt just might be decided in this instance. We'll shoot from up here. Let's do it. Siegfried Mueller was aiming with a steady hand. He didn't want all this planning, all these efforts for the nonce. He was concentrated as ever when he was hunting, searching for the perfect target. The crosshairs became but an extension of his eyeballs. There it was. The adrenaline set in, and rushed through his veins at the speed of light. A beautiful, enormous back of a large male gorilla was slightly adjusting to the right, carefully as to not lose the original target. Then to the left. He slowly searched for the other target, but there was none. This one had to be sufficient, and its monstrosity surely accommodated the needs of Mueller's trophy room. Now was the moment. He aimed at the wide back again. The gorilla wasn't moving, just sitting there. Perfect. One last adjustment. Now. He held his breath and counted down in his head like always. Try. Zwei. He closed his eyes. Eins. Shoot. Come on. Fuck! God damn it! The bullet... Okay, we're reloading. Wait, let me see real quick. Let me search it for some time. Motherfucker! Motherfucker! Alright, we're reloading, boys. We're getting that gorilla. I don't care if it kills me. We're getting the gorilla. I don't care if it's safe scumming. I don't give a shit. It's not, technically, it's not even safe scumming. Let's go modern equipment this time. Let's go for Shramadil. Blow the horn. The changing of the guards. Should I read that? I'll read it once we get that fucking gorilla. Prepare to shoot from up here. Come on, dry, zwei, eins. Yeah! We got it! The bullet directly penetrated the gorilla's neck, just as intended. Can someone clip that? This is fucking great. The brute collapsed in this instant, lying still for several seconds. God, that's great. Until it started flinching uncontrollably. Just in the vicinity of Mueller's ear, another shot was fired, cracking the beast's enormous back from behind. Whether it had been alive before, or whether it was a neural excess load, the black brute was surely dead by now. They approached the dead animal on the ground. Step after step, Mueller's grin widened. Barely a meter apart from it, he shook one of his hunting companions by the shoulder and shrieked how he had missed this feeling of overexcitement. He'd never slain such a brutish adult gorilla before, and this particularly brutish specimen's head was about to adorn the halls of his palace and bestow upon it the menacing yet tranquil impression this gorilla had radiated. Mueller quickly took hold of his sense again. He tried to lift it upright, but had to laugh at its enormity. Instead, they rolled it over, and cadence descended upon it like vultures for the final work of the day. Thus, the cutting and stowing began. Gets the gorilla in the palace. Alright, we might as well read this fucking boring SS shit. Central Africa's native SS units and infamous mercenaries had always had a strained relationship, and hostility between the two groups is not uncommon. One such incident took place in the town of Demba. A dozen German mercenaries, confronted by a squad of 20 native soldiers garrisoned in the town, insisting they lay their arms and allow the mercenaries to take charge of the town's defense, with proper compensation, of course. And I'm curious. I just wanna... I know this is probably important, but it's not there yet. Okay. Names refused and insisted the Germans leave the town immediately or face imprisonment. They were responded to with a salvo of friendly fire. To the mercenary surprise, the natives scarcely proved as the unmotivated cowards their ringleader had assumed. Rather, they faced well-aimed and well-spaced shots from 100 different directions. 2 minutes later, 4 mercenaries lay dead on the streets. The other 8 were disarmed and marched at gunpoint to the town jail. The squad sergeant presented his prisoners to the Demba garrison's captain soon after. And his men expected praise for saving the town from bandits. Instead, they had received scorn from a man whose worst fears had come true. After all, these subhumans had used the weapons and training Germany had provided them to murder 4 members of the master race. Despite facing 20 armed men in the office, the captain told each that they were stripped from their ranks and hung forthwith. After a moment of silence, the sergeant withdrew his pistol and shot the captain's balding head point blank. Demba's German guards were swift, but not swift enough. A running gun battle through the streets left 3 more Germans and 5 of the natives dead, as well as 8 civilians caught in crossfire. By the day's end, the remaining 15 had escaped towards the jungle. As his first day's act later, the town's garrison new captain hired 8 German mercenaries in the town's guard. So this is how loyalty is rewarded. I mean, I guess that's kind of important. But is it as important as the gorilla? I thought not. There it was, perfectly in place. The big brute just fit there. Yet Mueller couldn't exactly tell what particularly made it happen. It was just, It just was. The grand collection still in its shabby early stages, and such an enormous beast's head complemented each other flawlessly. The gorilla's skull, looking menacingly down upon any of a palace's visitors, certainly offered for a scared visitor once in a while. Mueller liked it. He looked at the positioning of the head and thanked for the concierge's efforts to put it up there. The Reichkommissar crossed his arms and proudly contemplated his work. He had slain this beast. What a story to tell. No one could flee it now, with the big gorilla's head being the story's sentinel. The fierce look reminded him of how many of Africa's impressions will once adorn his palace, and he couldn't wait to expand it. Oh! That is beautiful, guys. I think I might cry. That's fucking beautiful. Holy shit. Can we get some pogs in chat, guys? We did it. We got a fucking gorilla. Holy shit, we did it, boys. And girls, if there are any ladies watching. And people of non-specific gender pronouns. You know, I don't discriminate. I try not to, intentionally. Oh. So sick. This one tastes like whipped cream. I don't know what the fuck is up. What the hell, Jones? I expect a consistent product. I wanted cream soda, not whipped cream soda. Oh, free military factories. Let's go. Some guns. And then, what else do we want? That seems pretty badass. We'll go with that. Some convoys going. And, oh. I was about to make a Harambe joke, but it's still too soon for that. What do they want? Oh, level 1 infrastructure in Boma. We're supposed to build that, okay. My bad. Boma. Oh, Boma, that's Boma, okay. Oh, we're already building it, there we go! Already doing 3D chess. Let's guard construction projects real quick. Lose a bit of manpower, but get some more construction speed. That'll be good. Oh. Oh, who are we going to hire? Kingdom of England, French state, and what used to be Belgium. We can afford to piss off the French, because we're about to do a focus with them anyway. Who are we about to... French and Belgians. We'll go with the Anglos real quick. To improve the happiness of... Let's improve their happiness right now, even. And then we can invite someone else. Ooh. The first man on the moon, Captain Eberhard Kollner, would be a premium guest. His exploits will resonate across for years, and having him praise our resort will give us the best of publicity. Of course. We're inviting German Armstrong. So this will be wonderful. Eberhard Kollner arrives in Leopoldville. The crowd waits anxiously on the sun-drenched runway of Leopold Airport, sweat dripping down brows and soaking into the hats and collars. Journalists and cameramen enviously glare at the honor guard and Reichskommissar Mueller himself, who are wearing light and breezy military tunics instead of suits. However, all eyes are soon drawn to the plane that appears in the sky. Everyone eagerly watching as it touches down on the tarmac. It slowly circles around and comes to a stop as a flurry of workers rush to the wheel over a set of stairs. Roll out a red carpet. The hour of portent was finally upon them. The door opens and the legendary Ramsonat, Eberhard Kollner, steps out, briefly flinching as a wave of heat and humidity hits him. A small brass band strikes up and plays Von der Erde zum Mond, a march recently composed in Kollner's honor. He marches down the tarmac where Reichskommissar Mueller embraces him, eagerly shaking hands as the flashbulbs begin to go off. After pausing a few more moments to state the photographer and journalists, the hunter and his guests begin making their way to the waiting motorcade, which will soon take them to Reichskommissar's private helipad outside of the city, with their final destination being the resort complex at Hitlerstadt. As they pass by, journalists eagerly scribble down the snippets of conversation they hear, profuse thanks for Kollner's attendance, the fine amenities at Hitlerstadt, and the questions about what exactly it was like on the surface of the moon. The two climb in the motorcade's lead car and speed off with adventure awaiting them. The journalists immediately scramble back to the air-conditioned sanctuary of a terminal and begin the mad rush to their payphones to call their bosses. Der Aldo is gelandet. Oh, the eagle has landed. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. That's clever. I like that. Is anyone still around chat? You know, I still got a few viewers, but is anyone still chatting, active? Oh, I gotta text someone. There we go. Got some, Ooh. As he waved to the throngs of media and well-wishers who had gathered on the tarmac to wish him well, Kollner reflected on his visit to Central Africa. He had been greeting in many places around the pack since his return from the moon, oftentimes with massive celebrations. But this was an especially memorable one, since it felt different. Many times his visit fell into a pattern that he believed was more like a lesser vacation of his visit to Germania. A parade with screaming citizens and swastikas draped streets, from the airport or train station to the center of town. A long-winded speech by the local mayor, Gauleiter party head. A short speech by Eberhard and some photo ops with various semi-notables. Once he had done it all, he felt like. But this was a change of pace. No longer from Herr Mueller. A few moments after meeting him for the first time, he was in his helicopter, flying out to his private residence as his host pestered him with questions about his love of hunting. And there was hunting, of course, and plenty of it. And was feasting, swimming, and enthusiastic and jovial tour guide. There's one thing, however, he could never shake the feeling of being constantly pestered to do something. Go hunting for an animal he saw in a zoo, go to this party, go hunting for an animal he saw once in a children's book, attend a party as a resort, go hunting for an animal he never heard of. It was all extremely tiring. But it wasn't enough to give him a negative opinion of this endeavor. He would recommend it to anyone who needed a change of pace, and as he lifted off the tarmac, Eberhard had finally found the peace he was after. Auf Wiedersehen, Moonman. Beautiful. You know, this is the most fun I've had in Hearthstone 4 in a long time. And we're not even doing any fucking combat. We're literally just reading events and hunting animals. Oh. And it is great, let me tell ya. Meeting with Blackjack. I'm not gonna make that joke. I make the same joke every time I see the word black. It gets tiring after a while. I gotta save it. The estate is quite possibly the best designed colonial mansion in Central Africa. Elegant and minimalist after the style so popular amongst the Leopoldville elites, with just enough excess to suggest something more. It threatens to outshine the beauty of Mueller's own headquarters. Rumors are that the mansion was built with the finest architects in Germania, and a prodigious amount of local labor which the owner paid for himself. Mueller's only problem with it is There are fewer trophy heads displayed on its walls than he would like, but John Blackjack Schramme, planter, Belgian representative, and real estate magnate, is not a man whose tastes stoop to mere hunting. Mueller meets with Schramme on one of the secluded bungalows off this edge of the estate, taking care of a little signature for a tax agreement. That's not something he normally does in person, but he'd be lying if he wasn't at least a little odd and jealous of Schramme. Schramm. Oh no, it's French. I don't know how to pronounce it. So he made small talks with Schramm, who is, of course, the very image of polite acquiescence. He didn't get to the top of the cutthroat politics of the Belgian expatriate community through sloppy bearing, and passes him at appropriate time a paper confirming Belgian loyalty, ownership limits, and tax revenue. Schramm is a businessman above all else, and he urges Mueller to lighten the load of a class that is, after all, a key part of a resource extraction operation here. Who else can control the truckloads of jewels and mineral wealth coming out of a basin every day? But even the most powerful businessman in the Congo knows he cannot long resist the Reich, no matter how far away, and eventually he signs after some minor haggling. The Reich has giving after all, and what is gives can take away in a heartbeat. Well, the Belgians are settled for now. I'll just real quick stop this